All good.
All right.
So, want to start it?
Yeah, you begin it.
3, 2, 1.
That's not what I mean when I say beginning, Noah. Thank you, man, for being on Thank you, man, for being on the podcast. Jerome Reed, you're the owner and creator of Rawe Recruits. So basically, from what I understand, it's a platform that only gives a spotlight on local athletes here in the Gainesville area in the northern Florida part of Florida, but it also gives these kids a chance to get their name out there, get their talents out there in a way that they wouldn't get otherwise. And from what I've seen, nobody else has really done that before. So, me personally, what spoke out to me when he originally told me about you is the fact that I played football for so many years that knowing that there could have been somebody out there to give that same type of spotlight to other kids that I didn't get to have growing up. That's you're basically making these kids. You're basically giving them a stage to then show to other people that they wouldn't get otherwise. And that's, I mean, how did you really get that idea?
For sure. It really started with my co-founder, Wilkin Moran, who's not present here, but he had a vision about 4 years ago that just really came to fruition over time. Right. I got accepted into the University of Florida for a grad program around April of 2014. And he was living in Jacksonville at the time. I was in Fort Myers. And he calls me, he's like, hey, I got this dope idea, like we should try like creating highlights for, you know, different kids around the city and really try creating storylines, not just for the high school sector, but for all sports in the Alachua County area, since we were both moving that direction. So I really kind of slept on it at first. Got on to UF's campus and really wanted to make the most of the grad school experience because it was foreign at the time. And the way we kind of resurrected the idea is that I had a class that was an innovation class, innovation and entrepreneurship, with Miss Amy Jo Coffey, favorite woman in the world right now. And she really gave me the blessing after creating like a mock business plan for Rawe Recruits to keep it going. And it's been in a lot of different phases. Like, you know, we've helped local high school athletes. We've done different expose pieces on different people around this area. So it's taken on many different forms. But, you know, here we are 3 years later, 3.5 years later, and we feel very confident about what we've been able to create within this city, within this county, this north central Florida area as a whole. And we're just doing our best to keep it going.
Yeah. That's cool. That's like, it's similar because what you do is similar to what we do in a way, you know?
Yeah, in a way.
Like, we're both giving a platform for people to speak on or people to, in your case, perform on, which I think, I admire that a lot. I remember we did the short film.
Check out Belief. Follow Rawe Recruits, RAWE Recruits on Instagram. Check out our story highlight. My man Noah Wilborn starred in the Belief TV show. Go and check that out for your boy.
Oh man,
I did check it out. Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
How'd you feel about it?
I thought it was good. I thought that.
Is my acting still on point?
Hey man.
No. It's honestly, dude. For being at when's the last time you did it? Like years ago.
Oh man,
you're
like
perfect.
3 years
you're
ago.
Good. You're good. No, I mean I love the direction of it, and I think again, what you're doing is you're showing not only these kids, but the people that are following Rawe Recruits, basically that you're giving them. Not only is it entertainment, but it's some sort of inspirational thing for them to follow. Not only, you know, because you always want to look at somebody like that, or they can look at Noah and then go, I can put myself in his shoes and feel that story. When you're doing that, I get the point of that.
Yeah. It's definitely you know, an idea that we've never really had before. We've always wanted to kind of take this into an almost like ESPN Films type of direction, just to try.
30 for 30s are my favorite.
Definitely,
oh my God.
That's a real dream to have that be a permanent division of Rawe Recruits. But you know, with us being so young, it was just a great time to really try out an idea like this, and you know, see the response that it might get. And just so you know, a lot of positives came from that. Had a few student athletes around the area just reach out saying, hey, like I feel like that's me, and that's the goal.
Yeah. Innovation is the most important thing because, I mean, that's most likely why you've made it this far. I mean, I didn't start following you guys and really follow your journey until about, I'd say about when you interviewed my sister that we were talking about earlier. Right. When I heard about that, I was like, okay, what's Rawe Recruits? And then it was around the time that we were starting this. And so it's always been on my radar since then. So, I mean, innovation is the most key part, and I think that's got to be why you guys are still here, still doing the thing. And the fact that you've grown as big as you are, and the fact that people follow you and they want to be a part of that journey, it's special.
Yeah, it's like, if you a group of people or a group of like one or two people and an idea can be like the most powerful thing.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean?
And you hit the nail on the head at talking about like a platform for people to get their own word out. We live in a time where it's a lot of people are suffering because they feel like they don't have the ability to speak or really get their ideas heard or felt or met. So if we can be a catalyst to reverse that, we're doing the right things, no matter who we serve, no matter what type of content we put out. If we're creating platforms like this, I think it can go a long way. Definitely.
I gotta ask, and I think I know the answer. What's your favorite sport?
Oh, you already know, my man. You already know basketball. It was the only sport I played in high school. It was funny. I had a coach in football who wanted me to try out to be a tight end, and I had just got my first job at McDonald's. You know how the senior fees get, you got to pay for those. So I passed on it. I still play basketball, but I passed on football. I'm an Orlando Magic fan. It's kind of tough, but hey, we looking right. Hey, we beat the Lakers the other day. We stuck with the Warriors. We had them up 18. We ended up losing the game, but I like the direction we're taking. You give it 5 more years.
It's about it's all about being a fan here with the highs and the lows.
Exactly. I got a friend who always said, "Take it like a fan." Take it like a fan.
Right?
Yeah.
Jeez. What's your favorite sport, Austin?
I mean, the older I get, the more. I mean, it started with football, and then it keeps getting more and more in MMA. I love. To me, the idea of. Being
able to beat somebody up.
No.
It's so blood sport.
It is. But hear me out. Right. To give a fair view on it, to me, there's no purer form of sport than taking one man or one woman and facing them off against one other opponent and locking the cage behind them and going, whoever makes it out.
Whoever wins.
You know what I mean? It's one of those things where like team sports are amazing, but then when you get down to it, to have that kind of that's crazy at the end of the day. So that's the more and more that I get into it, the more and more that I find respect for. But again, I hear people, they get really psyched out by all the blood, and they're like, it's so barbarous. And, it's barbarous isn't a word.
Yeah, barbarous.
We got it.
Let's call Webster.
Yeah. But to have that happen in these extreme athletes, people that come from a lot of them come from sports backgrounds like basketball and football, and then find out they can't make it that way, and then they get into this and find out they're amazing. John Jones, one of his brothers, is, I forget which NFL team he's on. Basically, their entire family. I think there's like 3 or 4 brothers. One of them's in the NBA, 2 of the other ones are in the NFL, and he's one of the biggest MMA fighters ever.
Who's the mom and dad? I want to meet them.
For real.
Where are those genes coming from?
Let me ask you this, as far as it's not becoming a trend, but we're starting to see little pop-ups of it. The mix between those who box, fighting, those who do MMA. What you think about that?
So it's difficult because, of course, I hate to admit I am a Conor McGregor fan, and I know what direction that's going in. But the thing is that when you take somebody like Floyd Mayweather, and you take somebody like Conor McGregor, and you take Conor McGregor's history and what he did in the UFC, and then put him up against somebody like Floyd, the fact that he did as well as he did against Floyd says something. But the fact that Floyd at any point in time in that fight could have ended it, I know that. I know that Floyd could have came out in that first round. I mean, we know how when I went up to round, not 12, it couldn't have been 12. I think it was like 6 or 8 or something like that. And
I thought it was 9.
Yeah, it was somewhere. All I know is it didn't go to 12, but it's funny because you look at that fight and you look at how defensively Floyd boxes. He's always been a defensive boxer, and you put him in the ring with somebody like Conor, who's so offensive in his attack, and you look at the shots that he was landing. Were they impressive? Sure. There was no real power behind him, because he's not used to that. So when Floyd came in there, and then he really chose to start taking off at the age of 40. Was he still 49 before the fight happened, or he was just turned 50 or something like that?
Who?
What? Floyd.
Nah, maybe 39.
30, that's what I'm thinking about. Never mind. My bad.
49.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. No, but you put it, he gets going, and was going after him like it was nobody's business. So I think that showed people that there's a difference there between a boxing style and a striking style. Because a lot of people want to get into the MMA and they want to take that boxing style. And honestly, even though Conor went in there and got his butt whooped, if you would have put Floyd in the MMA, it's not going to be pretty. It's not going to.
That's the thing. It's like, you have boxing and MMA are two completely different sports. They are the same sport in the sense of gotta hit somebody, but they're two completely different sports.
Definitely.
Just as boxing and kickboxing is,
Yeah,
and then
definitely.
boxing and MMA, and then you got purely jiu-jitsu or like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, Muay Thai, everything.
And so for me, I don't trust the whole Conor wants to do boxing all of a sudden. I think it's all a publicity stunt.
Yep.
I'm gonna be real. Like,
But I mean, it's a businessman move.
Yep.
It's a real businessman
for
move.
sure.
Like, let's hit
But-
all the sectors.
And I'm saying like, with Floyd wanting to fight this kickboxer was
That's a setup. That is purely a setup.
and I'm like, bro.
So what happened? From what I heard with that, he agreed that he was going to come out of retirement and fight this. I think he's 19 years old, Muay Thai fighter, and he agreed.
19-year-old.
So what they agreed behind the scenes between both their promoters is that Floyd would fight him with very restrictive rules, to where this guy couldn't kick him, he couldn't do anything like that, but Floyd could kick, Floyd could punch. And then it came down to him doing the press release, and if you go back and you watch when they first met, you can tell he feels really out of his element. And he goes back and he released on social media, I think the day after it happened, he goes, basically what it was is that this wasn't set up the way that I thought it was going to be. Basically saying we had certain rules to where either way I'd come out of this winning, and it ended up not being that, so they called it off. But now the fight's back on because they offered him more money and the kid, and now it's back.
And because they call him Floyd Money Mayweather.
Yeah,
Bring it back.
dude. I mean, the dude. He's one of the most. You can look at Muhammad Ali, you can look at Mike Tyson and go, there's some of the most talented fighters. But if you really look at it, Floyd's the smartest. Yeah. With what he's done with his money, what he's done with his legacy, $100 million fight against Conor McGregor. Now he's still fighting at the age of 40 now, not 50.
Right.
So
it's
it's
the most tactical, most cerebral.
Yeah.
Like, you got to give him his credit for that.
Oh, for
Can't
sure.
help but
Yeah.
Now, my favorite sport obviously is golf. So
Is it really?
No.
Wow.
I was going to say, like,
That's out of left field.
No, I was about to say, but over Thanksgiving they had like the whole
The PGA.
yeah, and like who I don't even know.
Phil Mickelson or something versus Tiger Woods for I think it's like
$9 million.
Is that what it is?
$9 million. Yeah, Phil ended up winning. I saw
What?
a couple
Wait, hold on.
He
that was
did.
Like wait,
I didn't even know what happened.
Like
to
$9
him.
million flat.
For
It's just them two. Tiger versus Phil.
Wow.
Tiger versus Phil, $9 million. That's it.
yo.
I didn't even know it.
Wait,
I
I heard it was a charity thing though. I thought it was like something about charity or something like that.
I didn't hear about it. Maybe so, but I didn't hear about that.
yeah.
I thought it was,
$9 million.
when they're going out
On
with
the
$9
down
million.
low.
So.
A million.
Yeah, it was like 20. They got to the 22nd hole. It was like a little playoff. It took a couple of holes past the 18. But yeah, Phil ended up getting them.
Yo.
And he's clearly the older guy too.
Yeah, he's got to be in his like 50s.
Yeah, he's definitely the
Well,
guy.
late 50s, early 60s.
However long you want.
But the
Well,
fight.
shoulder and elbows good.
As long as them joints work.
Right. As long as I take those Centrum, I'm straight. One a day vitamins in, I'm good.
It's funny that you talked about that though, with promotion and it being about the entertainment value of things, not only with MMA but basketball, football, everything like that. The more and more it goes on, the way that these guys are getting higher paid contracts is when they have a higher social media following, which is crazy. Because to me, as the future keeps going on, the older guys like. I won't name anybody specifically, but I think there's a lot of these older guys that don't want to give in to the fact that social media is the way to make a name for yourself, not only with your career, but with where you're going, what people know about you.
Yeah.
So,
Well, either that or they just don't care because people already know who they are.
yeah, or they're millionaires already.
It's difficult
Yeah.
when you talk about that generation. But
Yeah.
Aside from whatever personality they have, I mean, I feel
Yeah.
like you have to have like a very bombastic personality to make it very far in the social media realm. But
Yeah.
speaking of like eyes gravitating to whatever sport, I don't know if you know who Jeannie Buss is. I forget her position with the Lakers, but she's in the Lakers front office, has a very high-ranking position there. I've seen her on ESPN once talking about how the NBA has these high contracts in comparison to other sports leagues around the country, around the world. And she said it very simply, like, where are these eyes going? We got the money because people are paying attention to our sport more than the other sport.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, and if you think about how people, individuals, teams, how they're getting the bulk of their contracts, it's just because of the eyes.
Yeah.
It's just all because of the eyes.
Right.
Like, and especially in this country, basketball is number one, in my estimation.
I mean, I think, if you look up statistics, then
Yeah.
it is number one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I forget what I read, but I think if I'm not wrong, it was football until the whole Kaepernick thing happened. Until that happened, and then the football ratings just went. I mean, they plummeted. So it's
which is unfortunate.
It is unfortunate because there's a lot of those guys that either stand for something or they're trying to do something bigger with their careers than what people want to restrict them to, and it's sad to see that a lot of people aren't receptive.
You know, honestly, I gotta read up into that because I've been hearing a lot of talk about that lately. With just people that I know, but I mean, I was
very broad.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
But like, I've been hearing a lot of talk about that, and I'm just like, I kind of want to say something, then I don't, because I'm just like, I don't know the full story, so I should probably
I mean,
into it a little more.
With any topic, you know, you never want to be that person that just talks out of their ass. So you got that part, but
like us with golf.
Right.
I'm
not about to carry too much of a conversation on golf, but I mean, at the course, like, I think people just openly misconstrue the reasoning behind everything he was doing to get the attention that he got. Like, that's at the core of it. And I met a guy earlier this year who worked kind of closely in that realm of social justice involving sport, and kind of said the same thing. It's really about, you know, what people are allowing themselves to believe about the situation versus listening and really hearing what the actual mission, purpose, truth is behind it. So I think just us as a human population, we have to be more cognizant about what we're allowing ourselves to believe, what we're allowing ourselves to receive, and how we just, you know, misconstrue information at times.
Yeah, I agree.
Tell me.
To finish on that point, a lot of, I think it is people misconstruing things. A lot of also, the other point is a lot of people passing unfair judgment. You know, a lot of people want to say that just because you have that platform or because you get paid a certain X amount of money to then perform that task or do that sport, that you shouldn't have the platform to speak on those issues. I think the people that have that platform, or especially the ones that should be speaking on those issues, because there's people like either, you know, let's say if this podcast gets big one day and people are actually listening to what we say, we're going to want to talk about those topics. We're going to want to talk about those important topics.
Right.
Exactly.
But
politics of it.
You know, if you don't have a platform for yourself, you know, who's going to be hearing you when you talk about it?
Exactly.
And so if somebody like him in that position can bring people together for what the issue is, why would you then not want the betterment of that? You know, it never made sense to me when everything was going on. So it's, again, I think people in that position are especially the ones that should be talking on it. I think what a lot of people get angered about is when the people that are ignorant in that position talk about it. Yeah. And that definitely wasn't him in that case.
Right.
So.
Right. Definitely very, very well knowledgeable about what's going on, which is why he spoke about it in the first place. But, you know, also people want their favorite things kept a certain way. So if I'm like an avid football fan that doesn't really want to hear that side of it, any opportunity that I have to, you know, cut that down, I take it.
Yeah.
If I have that position, which like a lot of people do. But again, like to see how many people just openly didn't want to hear it, just shut their earlobes off, you know, and just say, I'm not accepting that, I'm going to turn into something different. It's mind-boggling.
My dad said this to me. You know, there's two things in this life that everybody wants: is to look good and be right about everything. You know what I mean? That's like the two biggest things. So when you come at somebody and you're like, you're wrong about this, people automatically are like,
Let me tell
well,
you what.
Well,
you know what I mean?
It's funny that we're talking about sports because to go along with that, I mean, not to get too deep with it, but it's tribalism. You know, when people want to attack our team that we support, when people want to attack our political views, we automatically want to jump to, well, how dare you say I'm wrong, instead of focusing on, well, maybe they have something to say.
Right.
You know, because I forget who said it. I know his name. Jordan Peterson made a really good point. He's a philosopher, professor. Came up with a great book called 12 Rules of Life. basically was saying when you put yourself in that position, you're the one walking out of the conversation more ignorant. When you don't want to look back and think, when you look back and you go, is there any value in what they're saying first? And then assessing that, and you just want to attack people, it's just tribalism. We're just wanting to attack somebody for saying that something we support is wrong, and it's foolishness. It's us acting like children at the end of the day.
So I was gonna ask, along with all that political stuff. No,
crazy how it's turned.
So, I know, right? Every single time. We're like, look, we're not gonna get too political. And then
I mean,
whatever.
I don't even think that we got political. I think it's just about life. It
is life, and it's such a dominant piece of America's rhetoric right now. It's you can't help it.
We're so split over everything.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
If you go back to the early 2000s, or even when I was born, 1997, things weren't like that, especially with people our age. I mean, you're 26, right? 27. So you're 27, I'm 21, you're 20. So in people in our age right now, what they want to call millennials, because I guess you would barely kind of fit into that still.
I think millennials started like 1988. Like formally.
Dang, you definitely still fit in that. So no, people automatically wouldn't put the label on the fact that everything's so toxic now. But the truth is, it has become that. That's not the major majority of it. But there's no way to talk about what's going on in the world and avoid it. It's just there. It's always prevalent.
For sure.
But the difference is how we speak about it. How people of all different cultures right now at this table converse about it. So that's definitely the difference. And we're doing a great job at being open about it.
High five, guys.
Woo! Yeah.
Leave it hanging.
I can't speak for the Hispanics because I don't speak Spanish, but I am Hispanic. So
Honduras?
No.
Okay.
That's our close friend. I'm Puerto Rican.
Okay.
I didn't even see that.
Yeah.
No, I was gonna ask. Let me talk about this game last night. Okay.
Oh, okay.
This GHS. Listen, I'm still hot about it. Listen, I'm still hot about. So GHS and PK Young, they played last night.
Gainesville High School versus PK Young School, just like I said.
And PK Young won by 2, and
they won by 1.
By 1 point.
By 1, yeah.
1 point.
Yeah.
What was it?
Basketball.
No, I'm saying how did they win?
Oh, it was free throws.
What?
All right, so let me just break this down to this lovely audience. With basketball, a lot of things are important. Defense is important. Offense is important. Make your free throws. Okay.
Gotta stress that.
Make your free throws, and that is and I am not dissing anybody. Just make your free throws. Okay. I'm not saying any names. Just make your free throws.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's what that game boiled down to. I'm mad.
So what do you want to talk about specifically, or like?
No, he just mentioned.
Just
let him get it out. Let him get it out, and then we'll segue to a combo.
Because I'm watching.
Did you go to Gainesville High School?
No. My brother, Justice.
That's right.
He's on the team.
Right.
And I'm watching him, and he did really good, by the way. And I mean, the whole team did good. Just PK was just able to bring it out, and I mean, it was an intense game, though. I mean, you didn't see it. You weren't.
Listen, so I got there. About a minute left in the game. I was in Ocala filming another game, and my partner Will, he's telling me like, "Hey, I'm on the highway, by the way, and I'm driving. I got like 40 minutes left in the game." And he's like, on my drive, 40 minutes left on my drive. And he texts me, he said, maybe you shouldn't come. It's like 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Just head on home. And I drive another 20 minutes. And he's like, actually, only 2 minutes came off the clock. So, hey, maybe you can gun it and get there.
So many fouls and timeouts and all this, and it's just like, it's ridiculous. But it was heated because, I mean, there was two almost fights,
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it was there was one in the beginning. It was like, what was it? In the second quarter, I think. Mm-hmm. And I don't know anybody's name or anything, but one of the players on PK, he got mad, just couldn't hold himself in, like kind of fainted with the ball, like tapped the GHS player, tapped the GHS player's face with the ball in his hand. God, I can't speak English. And it was the whole thing, but GHS player, he kind of kept cool, teammates held him back, whatever. Got a tech. I mean, there was like 5 different technical fouls that whole game, and that's what I mean by it. It was just an intense night because it was so close. Every second of the game, it was just close. They didn't pull ahead by at least over 6. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
So I mean, it was a good game. I like games like that. I just wish GHS would have won or whatever.
Well, I tell you,
but kudos to PK Young. Man.
Yeah, PK Young definitely earned it. Let's not get it twisted. But one thing I will say about Gainesville, and like I said, we've been doing this for like 3 years now as far as covering like the basketball season in the area. One thing that Gainesville has always had as a constant was great post play, whether it be from those who are like 6'5" and above, or stocky guards who just don't mind getting in the paint and with these people.
I mean, they just jump.
Right,
exactly. They go for the ball. They're aggressive.
Right.
They're just very aggressive.
And I don't know if you have that type of identity this season. You know what I'm saying? So look out for that down the stretch. Yeah. You're going to want to have some of your guards really get in there and make some muscle happen.
Right. And I will say, it was the first game.
Yeah.
There was this is from what I believe, I could be wrong. It's a young team. It's a younger team.
Definitely.
So made up of a lot of like juniors and sophomores. Kind of not really any seniors.
A lot of guys that start out young like that haven't found the aggression yet.
Like
they haven't found that.
Like my brother, he's a sophomore on the varsity team.
He's nice though. I like Justice.
Yeah,
I saw him.
Hey, I tell him. I was just telling him the other day. I was like, look, no, I'm just playing. No, but I told him, that I'm like his biggest fan. You know what I mean? Like I full on. I'm there. As much as I can be, and
that's really important as an older brother, man. It means a hell of a lot. Like I have a younger brother. He's 19 now. He didn't play sports, but I urged him to kind of try out soccer. He had a stint where he was really into soccer, and I wish that I was just more on top of not forcing him to play because it's his decision at the end of the day, but like really encouraging him, and not just saying, hey, like let me know when you try out. You know what I'm saying? That might have went a little farther. Yeah,
and it's the same love for all my siblings really. Just with. I got my sister, she's in gymnastics. I got, I used to coach my younger sister, Kiana. I used to coach her little soccer team. And, Dion's in baseball. He's doing extremely.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, well, honestly, I got 7. No, honestly,
where does it stop?
Right. But I got 7 siblings, and most, if not all of them, are in sports some way. Like my younger brother down south, Joshua, he's in soccer.
Okay.
Freaking amazing.
Yeah.
He's so good.
Where in Miami or?
West Palm.
Okay.
So sort of close, but
yeah.
But all my, and I think having, it's one thing to have it from your parent, but I just think it's a lot different when you have someone who's close to you in age, like me and Justice. We're only 4 years apart, but that's family. And it's not like I'm his dad or anything. I'm his older brother. I'm his brother. I'm his friend. I'm his best friend. I hope. And I think having that kind of influence in someone's life, having that place in someone's life, not as a parent but as a brother, is so key. You hear a lot of these dudes who make it and whatever, and they're like, thank my mom, thank my sibling, my brother. Family is just a very, very strong component in people's lives.
Yeah. So when it comes to the gap, it's really important to not be a dad to your younger brother.
Right.
And that's something I really had to learn. Like I'm saying.
I'm telling you, me too, man.
Yeah. Like I'm saying, man, like when he was 15, 16, 17 years old and just not really along the path that maybe myself would approve of, so to speak.
Right.
Yep.
It's really easy to be in your mid-20s like, hey, like you should stop doing this, you should stop doing that. And because, especially we grew up in the same house, but I left the house when I was 18. He was 10, 11.
Yeah.
I remember that familiarity really isn't there like that. I mean, obviously we have that respect as brothers, but like I said, not that the familiarity isn't there.
Yeah.
So, in a nutshell, really think about that. I got to think about that daily, about how I approach my brother and the things that I want to talk to him about, the things that I'm noticing within him and the things that he's up to. Just how we come at our younger siblings means the most in those situations.
Speaking as a younger sibling, my brother's 26, I'm 21, so we're 5 years apart.
Okay.
He had that same exact thing with me where he tried really hard to be a father figure, and when he didn't even need to, because my father's always been there. But it was just so funny how he took on that role of exactly what you're saying, where he saw certain things in my behaviors and the kind of man I was becoming, where he really wanted to get those things out of me and really just want to point me in the right direction. And it's funnier. I think a lot of it comes with age until you really start to realize it. Especially me in my brother's case. The older that both of us get together, the more and more he realizes that he never had to do that in the first place.
Yeah.
Where he never had to do that because I think the kind of relationship that we have now is that we have an understanding that I've always known what he was doing. It's so easy as a younger brother to rebel against that because you don't want to have two fathers in your life.
Yeah.
One is enough if you do it right.
Exactly.
If you do it right, one is enough.
So it's so funny to have that relationship now because I see my younger sister who again we're all three of us are 5 years apart. I wasn't being more involved in your younger brother's with him in sports. Is that my mom actually forced me to coach because at the time I didn't want to coach her volleyball team, but at the same time they lost.
Volleyball?
I did for 2 years. Yeah.
Really?
I did for 2 years. I was forced to, but yeah. I had no idea what I knew the basics and everything like that, but it was basically it started as me just hitting balls to the girls and everything like that, and then I came to reffing the games and doing stuff like that. So it was a cool experience to see my sister kind of blossom in that way. And now she's really good at it, and now she's really passionate about it.
Right.
She definitely doesn't want to have a career in it because she has more focuses. But the fact that she's able to, take that to college with her and take those expertises and take those skills that she learned from the other girls that she played with, being a part of that. I look back at it now, even though I may not have enjoyed all of it, I can still look back at it now and go, I'm glad that I was there for certain moments. I'm glad that I was there to see her through that time. So, because it's a lot of the, me and my older brother never really had that when I was doing football because he was a teenager at that time, so he had his own thing going on, and it's difficult, especially when you're that far apart in age. Yeah. I think the closer you are, the easier you're able to really get that relationship.
You're just into the same things.
No.
Yeah. Well, it's not a given, but it's definitely higher chance.
Definitely
higher chance. Yeah.
What you think? So. Wrap this up, I guess.
No,
for sure.
The one thing I wanted to actually talk about before we go, though, is that, the one thing that I find interesting, how many other people do you have working for you? Because if you're, from what you're saying, you're shooting in one game. No, if you're all the way 40 minutes away and you're shooting one game, you've got somebody. I mean, how many other people do you have involved in this?
So primarily, it's myself and Wilk.
Okay.
And we're, like I said, we've been the primary pieces since 2014, 2015. Mm-hmm. We have a good friend of ours named Jamal Corley. He's been with us off and on for like the last 2.5 years. Corey Taylor was instrumental in helping us grow when we first started. We've had numerous interns over the last 3 years through the University of Florida. Yeah. I think if I had to place a number, at least 20 that have been on the books as getting course credit towards their degrees.
Oh wow, that's
awesome.
Yeah, that's cool.
Not
that's
just signing up for
changing lives, man. Look at you.
Trying to, man. And because we're still building who we are as an entity, we're not at a space, and I'll admit this openly, we're not at a space where we can hire somebody on full time to work with us. But when we had the idea to really take this abroad and try to hit as many schools as possible, we knew that we had to.
Yeah, you knew you were getting yourself into
somehow. It's just not going to be feasible with just two people. So, fast forward to where we are right now. This spring 19.
Yeah,
19.
Yeah, it's crazy to say.
Spring 2019, we're looking to have at least 7 interns at the University of Florida, and all will be immersed in different projects, whether it be solo or group, talking from PR, public relations, to video, to journalism, to photography.
Cool, man.
So,
yeah. That's awesome.
All across the gamut.
I mean, I know you know this, but it's awesome to see this and see that you're building something that's bigger than yourself. You're building something that's bigger than whatever scope that you could even see, because you're providing something that a lot of these, not only these kids, but these interns that you're having, the fact that you're building something like this, it's going to go beyond what you can even imagine. It's the fact that so many people are wanting to get involved, even just based off of the fact that you're so passionate about it. That's what means it's going to go far. So thank you for coming on. Thank you for coming to talk about it. Rawe Recruits on Instagram, Facebook. You guys are on Twitter. There you go.
Yeah. And then the famous words of Quavo, this bigger than you.
Okay. And that's where we're gonna end this, guys.
Cut it off, right?
Oh, hey. You just caught me cleaning up after this week's episode of the Talk Your Walk podcast. If you like this episode, you should probably go to our website at thetalkyourwalk.com. From there, you can see all of our social media links. Why don't you go check them out? Shout out to Rawe Recruits and Jerome for this week's podcast. What are you doing here? I was a co-host. Not anymore.